Okay, hey guys, we're currently in Midtown where the governor is expected to be here any minute to address her supporters and also her volunteers who are holding a phone bank right now. She is running unopposed tonight, but tonight the big deal is we're going to figure out who goes toe-to-toe with her come November. One of the biggest names that we're actually following is Congressman Andy Biggs specifically. He right now has a big lead in the polls over his main opponent. That's Congressman David Schweikert. Biggs has more money and also the endorsement from President Donald Trump. Biggs and Governor Hobbs have had some similarities in the talking points on the campaign so far, both talking about the affordability for Arizona families, and both are addressing the water security crisis as deeper cuts to the Colorado River could impact cities and towns across the state. But their approaches and priorities are very, very different. Now, Governor Hobbs is campaigning off her record, pitching tax relief for working families and steps she says are lowering housing costs, including repealing Arizona's tax on rent. She's also highlighting health care, including medical debt relief. Meanwhile, likely governor challenger for the Republican congressman would be Andy Biggs, and he's promising to cut taxes further and reduce what he calls government interference. And when it comes to education, Hobbs has emphasized funding on public schools, while Biggs is a strong proponent of school choice. Now, we are still waiting for Hobbs to arrive here in Midtown. We will be hearing from her in just a few minutes. After that, we'll be heading up to either hear from the top two Republican candidates. And again, it really depends on who is ahead. But right now, Biggs is polling in the lead. But again, that first drop should happen at 8 o'clock tonight. So we should have a good idea of where this all stands. So stick with us for our full coverage throughout the night right here on Arizona's Family. For now, live in Midtown tonight, Austin Walker for Arizona's Family.
Austin, thanks.